So I know in my past videos I talked about the concept of Kierkegaard's idea of every man or every person gets to a point where they're forced to make a decision. And they're forced to either take that leap of faith and believing something greater, whether it's, the universe is guiding me, whether it's God, and believing that there's something greater or a greater intelligence and trusting in that. And that trusting is the leap of faith. And of course, on this channel, we talk a lot about metaphysics. So of course, we're going to focus more on the idea of taking that leap of faith. And taking that leap of faith requires in a trusting in yourself, trusting in the actions that you take on a regular basis are for your benefit, or you're making those decisions and you're becoming the person you're supposed to be and meant to be. And the struggle some people have, and what this video is going to primarily focus on, is that after you've taken that leap of faith, it might feel like, man, why isn't things happening the way they should? Why do I still feel like this? Why do I still feel like that? And that's when you're stuck in it. That's when metacognition kicks in, and that's when you start spiraling into why me? The story of, oh, of course this happens to me. Woe is me. That type of thing. And that's when meditation comes in. If you're the person who meditates, which I'm assuming you are, especially if you have that, the feeling of something greater guiding you, then meditation allows you to catch yourself in that spiral and say, no, I can't be thinking that way. I should just keep doing what I'm doing and trusting the process and move in that direction. And that's a way of controlling your energy. That's the stuff that that's talked about in religions. That's the stuff that's talked about in, manifestation. And that's the metaphysics stuff. So you're trusting the automatic process, and you now know that you don't have to force anything. You just trust it and it goes. Well, there's a gap in between that leap of faith and trusting, and then you have to trust the system, trust the process, trust your automatic action. Well, while you're trusting and after you've taken the leap of faith, it takes time for things to happen, because we still live in a Newtonian world where our actions have power over time, thus the compound effect. So basically what I'm saying is that after you've taken the leap of faith, after you've trusted this greater intelligence, this greater being, God, the universe, whatever the case is, you then have to accept that we live in a world that is Newtonian, that is physical, that is tangible. And as a result of that, you accept that it's going to take time for this leap of faith, for this trusting of this greater thing to then show you the fruits of your labor. The seeds that you've planted eventually will show itself, and you have to trust that. I mean, if you want to use a physical example of this idea, look at how a tree grows. You take this little seed and you're like, I have my doubts. How is this little seed going to turn into this massive tree? Okay, well, you got to trust the mechanical process that the universe will make that tree grow, right? It's a similar idea. It's a similar concept. After you've taken the leap of faith, that you have to trust the mechanical process of every single day. It'll culminate into the person you want to become. So if you want to be a motivational speaker, then you have to get out there every day, speak, talk, screw up, make mistakes, do it again, It sucks. You do it again, and then until eventually you've practiced so much that you naturally know how to speak in front of a camera.